In today's video, we will go over the Siege of Orison and go over the particular aspects that I believe CIG should spend time to improve. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator, and in today's video we will talk about how Cloud Imperial game could improve Star Citizen's latest dynamic event, which came with Star Citizen Alpha 3.70.2, the Siege of Orison, which is basically theaters of war but against NPCs and happening in the live servers. I personally think that this is a brilliant concept, and I really hope that there will be more of these in different locations in the future. Now, that being said, what we've been experiencing over the past couple of weeks, both in the PTU and in the Persistent Universe, has been but the very first iteration of the event, and just like Xenothreat and the Ninetales event, which have several updates, it is safe to assume that the Siege of Orison will too benefit from amelioration of its own, and I think that it's what CIG should do. The first thing that I think CIG should do is to try to remedy griefing in the event. Now, I know that griefing can be a sensitive topic within the community, but when people are deliberately trying to ruin legitimate gameplay experience by exploiting the game, that's what it is, and it has been happening quite a bit. We've seen people randomly sniping others, or groups of people just going there shooting everything that moves, including players. We've seen that I think that we can classify as spawn campers, people who just wait in front of the shuttle arrivals and shoot everyone who disembarks. But worst of all were the people who pretend to join groups with other peoples and then walk on purpose into friendly fire and then press the charges, giving them a cry stat only to have friends coming in and sending them to Klesher. This was by far the most disgusting thing I have seen and experienced during this event, and I really hope that the devs have a plan to stop such occurrences from happening, because exploits like these should never ever happen, and perhaps I think that these are the most game-breaking of them all. So, how to fix exploits, you may ask? Well, I have a few ideas. We'll start with the last example I mentioned, because it refers to a problem I mentioned before on the channel in previous videos, which is how the games should handle friendly fire. I believe that the current zero-tolerance paradigm in which we're currently into is particularly unfair in the situations previously mentioned. However, I'm in favor of a more understanding approach. First strike should be considered an accident, second strike an unfortunate coincidence, and third strike would be considered actual deliberate friendly fire. Not only would this deter the griefers who use the current situation to send players to Klesher, for example, just for fun, but it would also make bunker missions a little bit less frustrating and would also remove the need for friendly markers that we currently have in the game. Of course, that can only work for minor attacks or injuries and not for deaths, because griefers would want to kill, not just injure, and we don't want to encourage that, right? Now, there's also the case of spawn campers, and sure, at the moment, there is a tiny armistice zone that protects players in a very small space when they disembark from shuttles, but it is still allowing anyone outside to aim at newcomers and shoot at them before they can even have time to throw their weapons. I think that to remedy that, we could have some security NPCs that would be stationed at disembarkment points and shoot at criminals, and to make sure that they would never get killed, they would have to be made invincible. Finally, as for casual murderers, I think that a marker similar to how bounties mark criminals, I think that a marker like this would dissuade them from committing such acts, as they would be very easily spottable by everyone in the area. Now, of course, there are other aspects in which I believe the Siege of Orison can improve. For example, I believe that we could use ground vehicles a little bit more. First, I think that there should be a little bit more space for ground vehicles. I think that there are too many obstacles and it's really hard to maneuver in the area. So if they could make a little bit more space, have some areas where there could be some ground vehicle battles or used for them to fight the NPCs, that would be wonderful. Even better, when the technology is there, I would love to see enemy ground vehicles over there, that we would fight with other ground vehicles. That would be absolutely epic. Something else that I would like to see, I would like to see a clinic over there so that we would not have to respawn at the Orison hospital. Now, ideally, I would love it to be not necessarily at the first platform, but maybe at the second or third platform. Like, it would be something players would have to earn, and that clinic would be, perhaps would have to be liberated, or perhaps saved from the Ninetales, because there will still be some friendlies over there trying to defend it. Also, speaking of that, I would like to see a gun stall, maybe at that particular clinic, which would sell some of the toys that we don't have in any other shops. For example, not necessarily talking about the missile launcher or the railgun, but maybe the F-55, right, or the grenade launcher. That would be great. I would also love to see a little bit more drama as well. I mean, it's quite dramatic, especially at night, but when the technology is there and we're gonna have the clouds that would move in the atmosphere, how would it be to eventually at some point have the platforms stuck in some kind of typical Crusader pink fog, in something very thick and misty? I think that it would really look brilliant. And also, to add more drama, how about some air combat, you know, between NPCs or Crusader securities trying to take over and the Ninetales just fighting them off? I think that that will also be very nice to see and to listen to. Finally, speaking of NPCs flying, how about instead of having the lieutenants just hiding at the platform, having the lieutenant just dropping off, because NPC reinforcements and NPC drop-offs are already something that exists in the game right now. I would love the current mechanism with the lieutenants to change and have them dropped off after a certain threshold. For example, a certain amount of NPCs killed by players, then we would see him drop off on the tower. We would know exactly where he is instead of trying to look for him forever until we finally get to the last tower. So it's a little bit annoying, it's a little bit cumbersome, and I think that it would also look quite epic. But anyway, guys, these are my suggestions for possible improvements for the Siege of Orison. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys. You can get to win an Envil Centurion if you subscribe to the channel and answer the question, how would you envision improvements for the Siege of Orison? Let me know in the comment section down below down there. Also, if you join our Discord channel and enter our video sharing contest, you can win 2 more Centurions over there as well, and YouTube and Patreon members have automatic access. Thank you so much for watching, guys. A big shout out to Captain Snake, Geek Citizen, Eric on the Jitten, and Dr. Fabin is the Eradicator. I will see you guys later.